There we go.
Excellent. Welcome, Facebook Live. We have another week and another panel with KP&A, 1 o'clock. So today we're going to be talking about the ever-changing mortgage situation here in Ontario. We have a fantastic guest, Nikhil Bhatia, who is the principal broker and owner of GNE Mortgages. Before we dive in and speak in depth with him, Carrie Ann, we're going to pass it off to you, and you're going to take us through the weekly stats for the Halton and Burlington area.
Good afternoon and Happy New Year, Facebook.
Happy New Year.
So it's our first panel of 2022. Let's go. So for the last 7 days, there's been 121 new listings, 132 sold listings. The average list price is $1,145,156. And the average sale price is $1,139,444. Average days on market is 6. And in Halton, there's 140 active listings, and of those, 50 in Burlington.
Burlington, okay.
How many in Burlington? Sorry, Carrie Ann?
50, 50.
50.
Wow, lowest ever.
Lowest ever, historically speaking, and that is across the board. We have regular conversations with other leading teams in different areas in Ontario, and to be honest with you, it's across the board, so it's nothing unique to our Halton region. That being said, we do need some more inventory. So without digging in too deep and repeating the same message, now is a fantastic time to sell. There's never been less options for buyers, and that makes it difficult on that side. On the selling side, it's something that we can certainly discuss and talk about getting the top dollar for your home. So Karen, is there anything you wanted to add on that, or do you want to get right into the topic at hand?
No, let's get right into the mortgage situation.
Absolutely.
Let's speak to the expert.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned earlier, we have today Nikhil Bhatia, and he is the principal broker and owner at GNE Mortgages. So Nikhil, can you just give us a quick bio, a little bit about yourself, your background, and your company as well?
Sure. So first of all, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for having me. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you had a great start to the new year. As for the overview on us, I've been in the mortgage space for a very long time. I was actually an award-winning realtor in the past, and then finance was my calling, so I switched into finance. Currently, GNE Mortgages is located in Mississauga, close to Hood, Ontario in 401. We have opened for this year a second location in London as well, because everybody knows London is growing and booming. Our team size currently is at 130 team members with staff of 6. We are probably one of the only brokerages that offer full underwriting support to their agents. We are able to service for our realtor friends and clients all forms of business. We are able to offer AAA rates for your clean credit income qualified clients. We are able to offer alternative financing for business for self clients, people who are making good money with their businesses, but to save taxes, report little low income on their personal side. We have products that assist us to handle bruised credit and foreign income. We also have unique products with a couple of MICs, which stands for Mortgage Investment Corporations, credit unions, and pension funds, where we are able to do true equity lending, which is near prime lending, and all we are relying on is equity of the property. We also were one of the first few brokerages to introduce flip financing, wherein we are able to get you financing for properties that are not so nice, but are really appealing to some of the realtors and contractors who can flip properties for profit. So that's another category that we introduced, and we brought in some credit unions that would look at properties otherwise usually lenders don't like to lend on properties that are not in decent shape, because that's where their comfort or fallback is, the equity in the property and the property itself. So to sum it up, we are able to service all forms of business for you.
That is one fantastic pitch and first bio, because we have Karen's team has been in operation for over 40 years. You know, we have clients and we have connections throughout, you know, all adjacent industries and everything to support. But I have to say, something as diverse and, you know, covering all aspects A to Z, not something you come across too often. Karen, I saw, did you want to add something on that?
I just want to ask a question.
Yeah.
So you're very progressive in regard to how you do business, and I think that is fantastic, because obviously every client is different. Every mortgage is different, and it's like, you know, when a client buys a house, their wish list is always very different than Tom, Dick, or Harry's, right? So you become very diverse. But I have a question about now that we are becoming investors across Canada, are you doing mortgages across Canada?
So currently our license allows us to, we are regulated by FISCO, which is Financial Services of Commission of Ontario, or FISTA now as we call it. So we tend to do deals here in Ontario, but we do have lenders that will accept deals from other provinces. So depending on what kind of financing need it is, we might be selective with it, but we might be able to handle some of it. I would also like to add that we are seeing a lot of applications from Alberta. It seems that the market's picking up there again. There's a lot of realtors going out there getting builder projects and stuff. So we are in the process of getting licensing there as well.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know, this is what is going to happen, is that we have investors that want to buy across Canada. That's not only Ontario anymore. It's Karen, can we buy in Nova Scotia as an investment? Can we buy a duplex or a triplex, or can we buy a residential home there? So that's what I'm asking. And it was funny because, go ahead.
Most of our lenders are lending across Canada anyhow, so we are able to assist.
Yeah. Okay.
And just to add on to that, that's a trend we've seen, you know, more and more, and it's certainly accelerated over the last few years, is a interest and a focus on other regions. A lot of the time, for instance, investors, you know, the cap rates that used to be, you find looking at almost every single investment opportunity here in the GTA, simply don't exist anymore. The income versus what the capital investment is, simply just, the numbers don't work. So for one of the reasons, I know you mentioned the new office in London there, Nikhil. I've had a lot of investor clients that before, specifically, you know, we're looking Hamilton, Golden Horseshoe, nothing else. London has been a huge driver market over the last year. Been, you know, driven down there several times to show properties that, you know, 2 years ago even simply wasn't on people's radar. So I think that is exactly what we're seeing. Now, one topic I really wanted to get into, and I think a lot of people are curious how it works, and you did sort of touch on this when you're going through the bio of your company, was private lenders and the rise of private lenders. Because I know in the past and in certain different times, you know, there's a great use, and a lot of people are gravitating towards that sort of financing. And in other certain circumstances in markets, frankly, it doesn't work so often. So talk to us a little bit about what you've seen over the last, say, year or so, and the use and commonality of people going into these alternative financing situations.
Sure. So I'll touch on ALT, or extended ratio program, as we may call it, before I hit on the point of private capital. Sure. So given the way prices have risen over the year, it has, it has jeopardized qualification for a lot of people. But fortunately, we have lending products from different financial institutions that allow a traditional client to stretch their buying power. So let's say you walked into a traditional big five bank and you were only approved for, let's say, $700,000. We do have all side products where we can stretch your buying power to, let's say, 900 or 950 maybe. So to sum it up, maybe bump your buying power by 20 or 30% so that you
Wow.
can get the home of your dreams, or that much more nicer home. Because I'm totally aware of the bidding wars. You guys are in the field, you know what it is. It's always 100K or 200K over ask. So
Yeah.
all the clients need that extra buying power. So we do have products that are a little more favorable, that allow us to stretch the client's buying power, and before they gravitate into private capital space. That being said, we deal with uh, national level private lenders that are regulated, lenders that lend with a heart. There's no hidden fee or gouging, or or no harsh penalties.
Yeah.
So because we do a lot of private capital business, I've seen horrifying stories from clients that have suffered at other broker or
Mhm.
brokerages. And I think the major cause of agony is not being aware. So what we've done is we've partnered with lenders that are regulated, that uh, are, for example, pension funds or mix that are heavily regulated. They have set guidelines. They have proper renewal policies. It's not like they're trying to take advantage of anybody. And when that clubbed with educating the client properly into what they're getting into, private mortgages can be a real beneficial lifesaver tool. I'll share a real life story here. Last year, I got a client. He was being approved by another broker. Um, for unfortunately, deal did not happen. They needed to close the deal right away. They were still short. They got an extension. The poor guys in middle of COVID with the kid were living in a car, as they did not want to bother the hosts that were hosting them for 4 or 5 days. So they used to drive around with their kid all day long so that they don't bother the hosts that were helping them during the 4 or 5 days that they didn't have housing. We stepped in, we got them financing from private capital, make at a decent rate, and it was a very helpful situation for them where they were able to close the deal. The property appreciated. Now they refinance into a major bank, right? So the reason to highlight this is, the point I'm trying to convey is, private lending is beneficial when done right with proper education and resources to the client.
Mhm. And I'd have to agree with that. And one thing that you just mentioned that I think I know for sure we're doing a lot right now, and it's the full transparency and the education aspect. Karen and I, we're realtors, and our job is to sell houses, but I'd say maybe 20% of our day is maybe doing selling houses. I'd say at least 50 to 60% of mine is having these conversations with our clients, letting them know what's going on and giving them the information that they need to make the right decisions. Because this is something, you do deal with mortgages every day. The average person deals with mortgages once every 5 years, if they're lucky. And it's really important. And I think, sometimes the private lending, and certainly there's stories out there, absolutely, but done right, I think there certainly is a area where it's 100% necessary. So Karen, I just want to flip it over to you real quick in regards to
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just wanted to ask, so on the private lending side, I know over the last, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years, we've come into a certain situations with some deals that have been really close not to coming together because of the financing. So just your 2 cents on the private lending, the need for it, and maybe a story or two that really hits it home.
Well, and, you know, it's very interesting because 30 years ago, I used to lend money in real estate, and it was interesting because, you know, it was only at that time it was only 5 or 10 or 15 or maybe the maximum was 25,000. And the rate I was charging at that time, and I always have a recall on this, was 10% or 12% because that's what mortgage rates were. They were very high at that, you know, they were very high. What I want to know is, and I do have stories, but I think I want to more or less discuss it with you both. What, you know, people, I know you're going to arrange another mortgage and for the person that cannot, but obviously the mortgage rate is going to be higher. What's the typical mortgage rate for that type of necessity for a jump-in situation?
So, Karen, a very interesting question that you've asked. What we've done is we've partnered with some mix that offer near prime lending. So today, if let's say on our alt side, clients are seeing mortgage rates of 2.79 to 2.89, these lenders are charging about 1.5% rate premium and 1% rate premium on their lending fee. So we have, believe it or not, for owner occupied decent credit score, we have rates starting at 3.99%. So that is almost near prime.
And I just want to jump in for a minute. And I saw that on your email that you sent to me, and I just want to tell everybody that that's how I have come to this gentleman, because of the email that he sends me all the time, or his company sends me, and it's private lending and and also the credit reports. I found that very interesting because that is a huge hurdle for some people, because their credit report is 600 to 700 and automatically the bank, no, you're done. We don't want to deal with you. And with your company, you will look at it and you will assess it. Correct?
Yes. So yes. So what we've done is, with this particular lender that we're talking about, the rates start at 399 for owner occupied properties. Loan amounts are up to 1.25 million. And again, this is for a very clean credit. The rates vary as and when we're dealing with lower credit scores. But yes, we have products that can easily be approved. All you need is proof of down payment, proof of your credit, and the appraisal, and that's it to get approved for this particular product. So fairly simple product.
I find 3.39 is fantastic. I think that's a very, very fair rate to charge in regard to the situation.
And this particular lender also offers tiered pricing as and when your score. So if your score is a little lower than the threshold for this product, you pay a little more premium. There's another choice available. So they are able to service basically all forms of credit, depending on down and in your credit score. So one thing that I would like to add is, this product is available for traditionally single family homes. They don't like too much of condos on this one, but we can try and get it accepted. We were also approached by a realtor that, why don't you get me financed for this with this product for a house and an acreage. It was a large house and 20 acres of land. So I would like to add here that this product is for a cookie cutter home in a regular subdivision.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. And
okay, just one more question. Sorry, Colin.
No, go ahead. That's fine.
So I have a client that we were trying to get a mortgage for, and we ran into a bit of a situation where he had not paid his income tax from last year or the year before or something, and so the mortgage broker went out and searched for a lender who would lend him money, but at a higher rate, of course, who would lend him money. And so it was put together, the deal was put together. So is that, does that encompass in your private lending also?
Yes, so most lenders would want to have a look at the notice of assessments to verify no back taxes owing to CRA, because they take precedence over everything else. Government needs to be paid.
Yes, I know.
So
Government wants their money.
Yeah. Yes, we also have done arrangements where we've infused private money from somebody else to have the areas sorted out and still be able to get them a better rate at this particular lender.
Yeah.
But to answer your
Yeah.
question, most lenders in the private capital space would want notice of assessment to not verify income, but to verify no taxes owing to the government.
Yeah.
We do
Yeah.
have
Okay.
arrangements that some private lenders that can pay off mortgage, the tax areas to bring the client up to date to qualify.
Oh, I see, I see. So they pay off the CRA and then I see. So then it's just merged into
We'll
the
bring the
mortgage.
client into good standing and then put them either, depending on their eligibility, we can either put them into A side, B side, or private, whatever.
So
is-
that's at a higher rate though, right?
But Karen, that is a short-lived financing, right? Until the regular financing comes. So that is only
Yeah.
being, think of it like a bridge financing. It's only being used for maybe 2 or 3 weeks until you secure the regular financing from the traditional
Okay.
financing.
Okay,
Then it's
gotcha.
paid off.
Right. Right. Okay. Good. You're
There's
full
a-
of
there's a
information. I'd love
solution.
to have a longer chat with you.
I know.
I
I'm
would
looking at
like
time. We got
to,
a few more
I would
minutes.
like
to go,
to
but,
add here, private capital. A lot of clients have used private capital to their advantage in terms of flips. We have a product that allows you to renovate and flip with the open term and lower down payments, because sometimes clients have just enough money to either put down or for the cost of renovation. So some of the clients that are working with a budget, there is a product for them. Like some of our agents advertise on radio, flip with $20,000 down, because we have a product where you can flip a property with $20,000.
Yeah.
If
Yeah, I'm
the
not,
interest rate goes
it's
up-
too bad I'm not a flipper, but I used to do that with older apartments and things like that, but I'm not, I got out of that.
Adding to that, we have another private lender that allows you to get financing on today's appraised value. So let's say some of your clients who bought a pre-sale builder properties 2-3 years ago and that have appreciated, and they just want to close without putting any down. We can use today's appreciated value instead of their purchase price. So that appreciated equity is used as a down payment, and we can put that into a 1-year term or a open 2 or 3 month term if they're flipping the property. So they don't need to bring any more money to the deal.
wow.
That's brilliant. That's that's brilliant. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much.
Yeah, fantastic. And to be honest, I think it's there's a solution for everything, and the education piece, and you've shared a lot of, out of the box solutions and situations that, traditionally aren't openly discussed about. So I can only imagine we're going to be asking you to return on this panel in a few months, because
Sure.
I certainly have another huge list of things I'd like to run by you. Unfortunately, I do have to go, so we're going to call it for today. But Nikhil, thank you so much for joining us today. It was fantastic making this connection, and I'm sure we're going to be discussing down the road.
And
for
I just
having
want to
me.
add one, I just want to add one more thing. What is there to our social media followers, I just want to add one more thing, and that is saying that takes the right person to put your financing together, because as I said, every person is different. Every person has different financial situations. So it just takes the right person. And I think that GNE Mortgages is probably the great company to work with in regard to that, obviously. Okay, so that's what I wanted to add, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
Guys,
very much,
really
Nikhil.
appreciate you having me on board. It was nice talking to you. Our numbers listed with everybody. Feel free to give us a call if I can be of
And
any help.
I've
We are
put your website in the comments on Facebook, so people have access to that as well.
Okay. All of you have a wonderful year ahead, and may it bring you all the prosperity, success, and happiness.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much, Nikhil.
Thank you.
Take
Thank
care.
you. Take